Hello everyone and welcome to Life Lessons Inside of Movies. And for this episode, I'm be talking about your girlfriend's favorite movie, The Notebook. And for those of you that are probably wondering, what the heck does The Notebook have to do with life? Whether you want to admit it or not, love is a very important key asset when it comes to life. Literally, the right partner can either make you or break you as an individual. And along with that, I got a confession to make. I really love romantic movies. It's a confession, it's a secret that I've held on for a long time, but yes, I really love romantic movies. And for those of the girls out there that are probably saying, oh my gosh, this girlfriend must be so lucky, they get to sit at home and watch romantic movies all day. Yeah, my girlfriend hates romantic movies. So, I guess Thanos really worked out his magic and balancing the universe out on that one. But anyways, Notebook. Gonna give you guys a quick recap. Spoiler warning, always be safe. This is a movie about Noah and Allie. Allie comes from money. Noah's a working class person. They both fall in love at 17 years old, and they have a magical summer together. But then, Allie's parents end up dragging her away. Fast forward 7 years later, they're at two very different points in life. Allie's college educated. She's engaged to someone that her parents basically approve of, and Noah's remodeling a house. So Allie catches wind of this. She goes down to go visit him. They have one more love fling, and now she has to make a choice, whether she wants her fiance or whether she wants Noah. Spoiler warning, she ends up choosing Noah. So this movie is basically about choices. There's a lot of life choices that are in this movie. And before I get started, life lesson 1 to 3, it's kind of one big central life lesson, but I broke it up so that way they all have their own identity. So let's just start off with number 1. And this is, what do you want? Your parents probably ask you this. You see a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook, they always tell you, you got to figure out what you want. And once you figure it out, you got to go out there and you got to chase it. But they don't talk about the stress in which some people take on in answering this question honestly. In the very beginning of the movie, Noah and Allie, they're on a date and they're walking. He's like, well, what do you do for fun? She's like, well, I got tennis lessons, I got Latin lessons, I got dance classes, I got piano classes. But at the very end of all that, she basically says, but I paint. So it's almost like a 10-to-1 ratio where she's satisfying her family, what they want her to do, and then she takes a little bit for herself. She literally picks a partner based on her parents' approval or not. So she's constantly satisfying everybody else. Now, for those of you that live your life like this, constantly satisfying everyone else, for you to ask yourself that honest question of what do I want, that is one of the most selfish and irresponsible things you could ever do. But from a life point of view, it's a question and answer that needs to be met. Because if you don't meet this, you end up sacrificing who you are as a person. You end up sacrificing your identity. Now, for lesson 2, the trailer does a really good job of this, where it talks about, it's a story about what you long for, what you meant for, and what you settle for. Now, what you long for is your dreams, your goals, your desires, the question that you have to ask yourself, what do I really want? What you meant for is kind of like where society will place you. It's what your parents want you to do. It's what your friends are doing. It's the mold that you fit. And here's the thing is that we always start off what we're meant for, but as we truck along to what we desire, neither two things will happen. Neither we'll feel like everybody's pulling us back, or we feel like we're leaving behind our roots. So ultimately, we end up settling. Never truly satisfying either side, but more importantly, never truly satisfying yourself. Which leads me into my third life lesson, which is regret. A lot of people can help influence your answers. Your spouse, your parents, even mentors can always tell you, here's what you should be doing, and here's what you shouldn't be doing. But no one, and I mean absolutely no one, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids, nobody is going to spend 100% of the days with you besides yourself. You are the one that are going to have to live with the decisions, and you neither get to reap the benefits or the destruction of it. But it all depends on the choices that you make. Why am I saying this? You can make a strong case that in this movie, Allie's mom was being raised the exact same way that she was raising Allie. Like the way that she talks about when she had her love interest was almost the same way that her parents handled it as the same way that she handled it with Allie. So a lot of people influenced her relationship into getting with Allie's husband, basically, or Allie's dad, which is basically Joseph Stalin. That's what he looks like. So the parents had an influence in it. The friends probably had an influence in it. But when she's driving with Allie and she's sitting in the car, who else is crying in the car with her? Absolutely nobody. So yes, a lot of people can influence your answers and alter your decisions, but at the end of the day, it's you that is neither going to suffer from it or is going to reap the benefits. That's why you have to ask yourself that honest question of what do I want out of life? And if you don't do this, you will neither regret it or you'll lose a little bit of who you are. There's that other part in the movie where Ali walks up to her fiance and she looks at him, I don't paint anymore. And he looks at her like, well, paint. And it's a simple question to answer for him, her fiance, someone that loves her, to where it's like, oh, just pick up a brush and paint. But for her, it's, I'm losing my identity. I don't know who I am anymore. I've been putting on the charade for you, for my mom, for my dad. Who am I? So that's the reason why you guys have to honestly ask yourself, what do I want? Now, number 4. I'm going to be honest with you guys again. I'm a little bit outside my pay grade when it comes to this one, but I'm just going to go for it really quick. Parenting. Like I said, you can make a case that Allie's mom was parented the exact same way that she parented Allie. But Allie's mom regrets her decision of choosing her husband, which her dad helped influence. So if she knows the ramifications of that, why the hell are you passing that on to your daughter? So now I tell you guys this. Ask yourself honestly, maybe your parents taught you something that you're like, you know what, I'm glad they instilled this in me. I'm going to pass that on to my kids. But no parent has the formula down to 100% to where everything's constantly right. Ask yourself honestly, where did my parents screw up on? And wherever they screwed it up on, do not pass it down to your kids. Simple as that. All right, this is going to jump into the last one, number 5. And save the best for last because this one, what is true love? What is true love? We watch a lot of love stories. There's so many love stories that have been made out there. This one might be the most famous love story. It's a question that a lot of people want the answer to, but it's a question that a lot of people hurt from. What is true love? Now, for me to give you guys this definition, you have to understand where I'm coming from this. Why do we go to the movies? We go to the movies because we can relate. Whenever we start watching a picture, it's we see ourselves inside of the characters. We can relate to the characters. But when you look at a lot of love stories, there's always 2 premises in which these love stories are based on, which is 2 people from opposite ends of the spectrum. One may be rich, one may be poor, one may be high social class, the other one may be a loser, or they start off when they're really, really young at 17 years old. So that has been the formula for love stories that everyone can relate to. This movie, especially, they're opposite ends of the spectrum. Allie's rich, Noah's poor. They're both 17 years old when they meet. But when we leave the theater, and all of a sudden we see a 17-year-old relationship, we look at them and say, oh, that's just puppy love. Wait till you get out there. Wait till you meet new people. Don't close your door off to one person. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Or if we see someone where the relationship doesn't make sense, we always look, how the heck did he end up with her? And we poke fun and we tease. So my definition of true love is love that is not influenced. Take a 17-year-old kid that he finds a girl, whatever, they fall in love. There's very few things that are influencing it. It's almost as simple as, I like you, you like me, let's see what happens. Versus you take a relationship in your 30s, and I'm not trying to bash anybody that's dating in their 30s, but it turns into a job application. It turns into, do you have a good job? Do you have benefits? Do you have a running car? Do you have a house? Do you want to have kids? What does your retirement look like? And we're listing all these outside external things rather than the simple fact of, can I look at this person and feel completely vulnerable? Now, when you're early in a relationship, we'll say 30s, both of them can weigh. Which is, you'll look at one relationship and it's like, well, if I get with this guy, just like in the movie, I can have a really, really good life. My finances will be taken care of. I'll eat the finest foods. We'll travel. Everything will be good. But if I get with this other person, we're going to struggle, but I'll be willing to die for them. So in the beginning of the relationship, it weighs heavy. You don't know which one you want to pick. But then there's something like 20 years later where the law of familiarity kicks in. We should give you guys a quick example of this. Every single day that we live, we're collecting in data. So we get used to what's common, what's ordinary around, and we take it for granted. So if you're living with money for 20 plus years, you know what the good food tastes like. You know where to travel and all the best places to go. Then you're left with this idea of, what if? What if I would have got with someone that I absolutely loved. What does that feeling feel like to wake up and be completely satisfied by looking at the person that's laying next to me? I say that because in the movie, that was the dilemma that Allie's mom had. Money probably played a big factor in it. But at the end of the day, she wasn't satisfied who she was laying next to. So, my definition of true love is love that is not influenced. And as you get older, it gets harder. Like I said, 17 years old is very easier because there's less things that are influencing it. But when you go out there and you're trying to find a partner, keep that in mind. Are you getting with them because the security? Or are you getting with them because you'll be willing to lay your life down for them? Choice is up to you. Like I said, this movie is a lot about choices and making the difficult choices in life. So I challenge you guys to go out there and watch the movie again. Guys, tell your girlfriend, let's watch The Notebook. She'll probably be shocked and be like, really? Sit on a couch, get some hot chocolate, have a fun night with it. Reflect on the movie. Bring up all those emotions. And yes, the movie is a little bit cheesy, but when it comes to love, like I said, love is a very big asset when it comes to life. So watch the movie. Hit me up on Twitter. Tell me what you guys think of it. Tell me what life lessons I might have missed at ChristianG7752. And as always, guys, not all movies were meant to entertain us. Some were made to teach us. So until next time, thank you guys for listening.